welcome back to the channel, and I got another recap for you guys. Married at First Sight Australia. This is episode 10 recap, and this week is intimacy week, and we're going to be talking about sexual frustrations and secrets that's going to emerge. So before we unpack all of this, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash that like button, and also feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below. So we had a crazy confession week where the couples opened up and revealed some of their biggest secrets, and the experts feel now it's time for the experiment to move to the next stage, which is intimacy week. This is where we see clinical sexologist Alessandro Rampolla sets the couple's various tasks to help them get closer and bond more together. So let's talk about what's going on. So our first couple we're going to talk about is Holly and Andrew, and oh my gosh, it has been a disastrous week for them, a disastrous commitment ceremony session with the experts. And you know, it's not surprising that Holly and Andrew are remaining in two separate apartments, because as it seems, their relationship appears to have hit a new low. We even hear Holly saying last night she was floored. She couldn't believe it. And of course, that she was referring to Andrew's decision to write leave before crossing it out to write the word stay. She says she was humiliated. She wrote stay to see if maybe something could change. Nothing changed. We're not on the same team, she said, and we cannot even move forward as friends. And I'm like, that's not new news. You guys are in two different places, and you guys need to be with people that are better suited for you. Holly says that she's done with the relationship, but surprisingly, Andrew isn't. So the groom reveals that writing leave first came from his fear of rejection. Now, we see him tearing up, wanting to talk to Holly to see if their relationship can be saved. Andrew eventually does reach out to her, acknowledging, that he has hurt her and wanting to have a chance to make this right. Well, Holly took that and she saw it as a glimmer of hope, and, she slept on what he had to say. The next day, they do catch up with each other, with Holly expressing how disrespected she felt at that commitment ceremony, telling him, if you are willing to put in the effort, I'll hear what you have to say, but I'm a different person now and I got my walls up. Yeah, okay. Andrew then confesses to Holly that his biggest fear is rejection. Okay, but you are the one that said you don't worry about what people think. Yeah, and that he has abandonment issues. He's been seeking validation through sexual partners. That's pretty darn interesting, because we remember he has a 350 body count. He even said he lied, he's cheated, and he's been hiding this for too long. My question is, why did he have to read all that from his phone? I didn't get that. Usually when somebody kind of, say what's on their heart, they usually just express themselves heartfelt. He was reading it from his cell phone. I didn't get that part. What do you guys think? However, after he apologized, they hug it out. Andrew cries, and then the couple agree to reset their relationship and build it from ground zero. So, do you guys see this as a reuniting of these two? Not me. I just don't believe it. Just for the fact that he read that whole thing off of his phone, it doesn't seem sincere. And she actually was playing a little bit of game by saying to stay just to get a reaction out of him. I'm like, that ain't what you do. You either stay or you leave, because either you want to be there or you don't. I am so over this couple, both of them. Let's move on to our next couple. So the little bit that we got in this episode with Celine and Anthony, after the experts tell the two of them to move back in together, Celine is wondering why on earth would she say stay. And to be honest, I know a lot of us are wondering that too. By the way, I just posted an interview because, well, I won't even call it an interview. She called into a radio station, I guess going rogue on her own, maybe to break her contract, if that's what you want to call it, to pretty much slash the production team and slam Anthony, and that they forced her to do things. If you haven't seen that video, go check that out. I'll tag it at the end of this video so you can see it if you have not already. But it just doesn't make sense, because if she was forced to do this, why did she say stay? She could have went home. She had a way out. And of course, we also saw in this episode, with Anthony moving moments away, Celine decides to pile up all these clothes and luggage on her bed. And she wanted to stay right where it was. It was like, girl, if you don't want to be bothered with this man, just go. They gave you the way out. You should have taken it. And I mean, we definitely wanted to see what happens when he get there, which we didn't see in this episode. So obviously they're going to give them their own pretty much 15 minutes in the next episode, probably. But let's move on to somebody else. So next up is Sam and Al. Now, Sam wakes up feeling a little rattled. And I don't know if it's because of an intense commitment ceremony, or because Al is casually drinking milk that went and got old about 4 days ago. I don't know. I was like, dude, if you said the milk smells bad, why are you still pouring it? Now, what the expert Alexandra sent them is that they had to gaze into each other's eyes for 3 minutes. Now, originally in the beginning of this task, it started out kind of weird, but it definitely became clear that Alexandra knew what she was doing, because they definitely ended up sharing a quick kiss, which that was a huge breakthrough for these two. But, after Sam kisses Al that night before she goes to bed, Al is so involved in this movie that he's watching that he failed to pick up on her cues, and Sam is left feeling confused. However, Al is absolutely clueless. I mean, my thing is, if she wanted something more, just say it. She can't, people can't read each other's minds. And then in the meantime, Al gets excited when another task from Alexandra arrives, challenging the couple to do a 5-minute makeout session. However, Al is all in. But Sam, she's still upset that Al had missed all of those romantic cues she gave him previously. And she was like, nope, told him that he had to wait in order to kiss her. And then she get mad, saying that, oh, I feel like he doesn't try. He needs to man up and take control of the relationship. And I'm like, oh, here we go. That boy is trying. He is trying. But, I mean, you can't expect him to read everything that you're thinking. You got to take accountability for your thoughts. And if you didn't communicate that, that is on you. She tell him, you got to wait for a letter. You say you like me, but you don't touch me. You not touching me make me feel not desired and make me feel like I'm nothing to you. And I'm like, really, girl? Come on. I mean, we're in a weird, I won't say weird. We're in an interesting time period of consent. And because you really have been so hands off with him in regards to him trying to kiss you in the beginning, he has taken a step back because you've been putting walls up. So he don't know at this point whether he should go or not. You sent those messages, he received them, and he's acting on it. However, Al tells her, there's a load of stuff I need to work on, and I'm going to do what I can to make you feel loved. So that boy is trying, that man, I don't want to start like his mother. He's putting in the work. He's trying. But we did, I would say excitingly, got to see in the end that they decided to kiss for 30 seconds, did a short version of that task. And Al was like, friends don't kiss like that. We're a couple now. So he's proud of himself. And we're proud of you too, Al. Let's go to our next couple. Next up is Selena and Cody. So not even morning meditation can save Selena from her mind racing and spinning. She's finding it hard to move on after being hurt by Cody's comments around attraction. Now, while Cody said all the right things at the commitment ceremony, Selena believes the damage has been done with the words. Now she wants actions. Thankfully, we did see Alexandra give them a task. She shows up at their front door with this giant present filled with all these little sexy goodies before sitting the couple down and help them work through their issues. And she even told them, if you keep your guard up, then you cannot connect. So we did see Selena later on giving Cody a haircut. And I'm like, yeah, that looked pretty good. And I think maybe that's a way to bond. And she even said that she's just going to relax and be herself. Obviously, I guess this haircut has magic powers because it definitely seemed like they are taking a step forward. So we'll see what happens with these two. Let's move on. So now we got Domenica and Jack. After the expert Alessandra brought them a box full of intimacy goodies, a candid discussion about sex takes place between these two. Now for Domenica, this is something serious to her. She ain't playing around, and she does not appreciate Jack playfully messing around with that large feather he had. I mean, she told him, this is important to me. This is serious to me. And Jack not only was fiddling with the feather, but then when she, told him to put it down, he's still kind of fiddling his fingers, and it was irritating to her. Domenica is also not happy because Jack told her it doesn't matter how many times they have sex in a week. And she was like, well, to me at the moment, the sex has to be a little bit better than a chore, because it seems like a chore to him from her perspective. And she's like, I don't feel like, you really want to be doing it with me. And she was like, I want you to want me, and I want you to F me. And I won't say the word, but that's what she said. For Domenica, so being that for her, sex and intimacy is important. And her opening up on how the lack of intimacy is where her past marriage fell. So she was the one that left 2 months after she was married. So obviously the sex wasn't that good, I guess. Later, Domenica tells Jack that she's not feeling wanted and desired. He then tells Domenica that he thinks she's drop dead gorgeous. I mean, he's definitely giving it to her in words. After a lot of tension between them, sadly for her, none of it is sexual. Jack reveals, he wants more fun. He wants more humor in the relationship. And, we did get a positive moment when Domenica decides that she's going to meet Jack in the middle. And I'm glad to see that. You got to bring it down, and he needs to bring it up, and they need to meet it in the middle. You can't expect him to be like Andrew. Okay, and I don't know if maybe Domenica should have been with Andrew. Who knows? But, if they work that out, they'll be fine. So let's move on to our last couple. So let's talk about Tamara and Brent. So Brent is on the couch. He wakes up on the couch, and we're not surprised after he and Tamara had a disaster session at the commitment ceremony, where Tamara reveals that she doesn't know if Brent is good enough for her. Yikes. Upon him waking up, Tamara tries to talk to him, who expresses he don't want to talk to her. And then despite all of that, Tamara decides it's the perfect time to talk. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. Tamara's like, you put on this performance. You completely blindsided me. With Brent, hitting back at her, calling her delirious. And it did sound like delirious, because it's like, what are you talking about? Now you're trying to shift the blame. she goes saying that I feel like you're intimidated by me. I feel like because I'm an independent woman, I have my own stuff together, that you don't want that. You want to look after somebody. And Brent was like, hold on. You need to get over yourself. I'm not trying to look after anybody. I'm not your father. And so we saw him leave the apartment. I mean, she just needs to take ownership of what she said. This man has been trying with you. You let your guard down. He thought you guys were in a good place. And then you get to this commitment ceremony, and then you get shell shocked by the experts, and then you decide that I don't know if Brent is good enough. So of course he's feeling some kind of way. I don't blame him. And then when he says, well, I don't want to talk right now, you push the issue, and it wasn't a good conversation. She turned it into a conversation of projection where she blamed all of this on him. So, of course, he got pissed off. And like most men, you cannot argue with a woman, because then it could turn not on their end a bad situation. Men are just not at this point want to be involved in arguments with women. So, again, he got up and walked away too. So, I mean, she has to take accountability for what she said. If she don't want a guy in the mind perception that she has, then leave Brent alone. I don't know if they're going to be able to work this out. He took off his microphone and stuff, and he was out of there. So, we'll have to wait and see. But, tomorrow, I thought I was having high hopes when she kind of let her guards down. Now she back to square one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and drop your comments down below. And until the next one, bye.